Okay, here we are, Unconventional Wisdom, CSE Investment video podcast. Back here every day, 10 o'clock Central Time. And we have a few members not here today. Keith's not here, Cezanne's not here, and Dirk, our CEO, is not here. But I'm here, and Randy and Joni. And if you want to call in, we have a number, 214-377-1108. 214-377-1108, and give us a call, and you can be on here. Your voice will be, your picture won't be, but ask a question and we'll cover it. And if you don't want to do that, you can send an email to podcast@compoundsstockearnings.com, podcast@compoundsstockearnings.com, and we will address that email on the show today, or we will address it. We'll also send you a written email of the answer. So Randy, so what's going on? We were just talking before the show started that the market's trying to find some direction. Do you have any speculation on what that might be?
Well, the whole market is speculation. It's been it's been going up and down the last couple of days based off of apparently what all the pundits on TV say. Apparently based off of whether the market thinks that that healthcare bill change is going to pass or not pass, and so it sold off the other day. It's been kind of on hold today. They're expecting some vote later on today or this evening, and now all of a sudden it started going back up. So who knows? It's all speculation. Everything about the market, Joe, as you know, is total speculation. It just goes up and down based off of what somebody thinks. We don't have to participate in the speculation because we have a nice process to generate cash income on a monthly basis using covered calls. Whether the stocks go up or down, it makes no difference.
You hadn't heard any of that noise, have you? The drilling on the roof, like I mentioned?
No, haven't heard any. And we'll have the trash man will be going out front too sometime this morning, so you might hear a trash truck go by.
Yeah, for the audience, down in Puerto Rico, and they're repositioning some air conditioning compressors on the roof, and they just happen to be right over our unit now, and so it's kind of coming and going. So I may have to mute, and Randy's going to take over for whatever time they're drilling.
Yeah, so, Joe, we can hear just a very little bit. It's really not bad at all, so you're good.
Okay. Joni, how are you? What's exciting? Give me those returns. It's a good say. It doesn't make any difference if stays out here or not. She never knows what they are.
She doesn't know. In fact, I tried to press her before I even came on. I'm like, well, can you tell me your returns so I can tell? And she didn't know, so I had to kind of go back and look. But it's been a weird week, just like what Randy said, a lot of up and down. And so with the kind of trade that we do, we have to be disciplined. Just because you want to trade doesn't mean that you should. So this week, particularly for IWM, which is the exchange traded fund I teach off of on the webinar, been some interesting movement. The charts haven't necessarily supported the idea of a trade. Today, we had a really hard time with a trade, did 3 preparatory trades, but the bid ask just never came in. And so the reason I even bring this up is that while our trade is quick and some see it as risky, we're really very conservative in that we always follow the rules. If the charts don't tell us to trade, then we just don't do it. And so that's happened with IWM. It happens every once in a while. Apple, which is the equity that Cezanne teaches while we do our webinar, she's had 2 trades. So she had a trade on Monday, 3 to 4%, great quick trade. And then today she had a trade where the trade, she got in, things started happening in the market. The bid ask that I just talked about spread out on her. And so we have rules in place to get out of things when they go bad. And so for her, bad was less than a 1% loss. And I know that seems unreal to people. We're real quick with what we do, but it's because we know the charts. And when the indicators change, we get out, which is what happened today.
Would you repeat that loss? Because right when you said that, your voice kind of broke up. I don't know if it was just my computer, but what was the loss again? Because I know it was
the loss today was less than 1%. And so when she got into the trade, just like what Randy was saying, there's been some interesting activity. And for us, when we notice those kind of things, we immediately put measures in place to get out. And so immediately she noticed what was going on and modified that trade for less than 1%. So she hasn't had a loss in months, and really not even a great loss. It's less than 1%. But that's how we protect these trades, and that's how confident we are when we're entering and exiting and then interpreting what's going on.
I think what's significant about that is that it's the ability, particularly trade at the moment, to cut off a trade if it does that. And it took y'all a long time to learn that, because I know it used to be sometimes you had a long time back in the olden days, 2 or 3 years ago, you'd have a 20% loss on trade because you would just let it ride and let it run, let it ride. And you always came out fine at the end of the year, but it took you a long time to make up that 20%. Now, I haven't seen either one of y'all have anything above, 1 or 2% ever now.
Well, and part of that too is developing drawing these lines of support and resistance. Look, there's Keith.
There's Keith.
So we draw these lines that give us appropriate ranges and appropriate decision-making skills. And so in our full-day webinar, which is coming up April 3rd, so I'll go ahead and give a little plug for that. But April 3rd, we're going to be teaching all day in the market from 8 o'clock until 4 o'clock. 8 o'clock, that will be central till 3 o'clock central. We're in the market all day. We do trades all day. But most importantly, we teach the system of line drawing that we've come up with in the last couple of years that really protects our trades, but also it prolongs the profit. So it's been a great system to add to our service.
Yeah, Keith, we were talking about how important it is on the trade the moments to be able to get out of a position fast. Cezanne today during their regular Thursday longer seminar, Cezanne entered an Apple trade. It didn't go, the right way, and so she managed to get out of like 1% or less loss. A long time ago, back in the olden days, like I said a while ago, it may have been a 10 or 15, 20% loss because they mess around and really, and then we really didn't have really definitive growth back then, not like we do today. Like Joni said earlier, we just started to use the girls. That is the biggest thing to learn. That's why you should use trade the moments. Do a lot of trading on virtual platforms. If you're going to rent those situations, we're going to get out. People don't like to get out because they think this can happen. They think that's going to happen. And that's why we have the rules. But,
well, it's the experience in doing all that too, and learning, because 3 years ago we didn't know that, and just knowing what you're trading. And the ladies talk about so much. Know the indexes or the stocks you're trading, so you understand that and understand what it does, so you know when to pull the plug when it isn't working right.
Absolutely. Do y'all see Randy? He just disappeared. There he is.
Yeah, he texted. He said he didn't like what you said, so he left.
No, I think it's when Keith came in, he kicked me out. Somehow I lost internet there for a moment, so I'm back in.
No, I remember one transaction. This was years ago. With one of Cezanne's, and I was in the car. Believe it or not, I was listening to their seminar in the car, and I was driving. And she got in this position, and I just knew it was going wrong. And she wouldn't get out. She did it and did it and wouldn't get out. And I called her. She started crying. She always cries. And she must have lost 30% of my faith before she finally got out. But that was a number of years ago, and that just doesn't happen anymore. So you just don't need to think about it. You just do what you're supposed to do. So what Randy does over there with his momentum trades. Do you ever even have a loss on momentum trade? Is there a longer term?
No, I just keep managing them, because even the momentum trades, I have a technique that I can continue managing until it comes back up. So
yeah,
don't really have to sell for a loss.
Yeah, it's really important in those trade moments to use those use virtual trading when you get started. So, but Joni, so far this year, what do you think? How much you think y'all are up for the year?
Oh goodness, I don't know. We'll tell you next time. I'll get together with Cezanne. we'll gather all those numbers, and we're going to have great numbers for you next week.
That's not going to happen much. You get together with her on that. Well, that's good. But Keith is up dramatically. You're up what? 300, 400%? 5,000%. What do you have so far this year, Keith?
Oh, for this year, no. That's in the last 12 months or so. This year, I'm probably up 40% or so for the year so far, something like that.
Fantastic.
Something like that. And that's with a loss that I had in there. And the current trade we have now is still open. I haven't closed it, and it's running at a 16% gain that I could close out right now. But again, watching the charts and picking the right place to exit on this.
Would you tell our listeners exactly what you do? So that they got a good idea of break moments, but on your trades, exactly what do you do?
Okay, well, there's basically two kinds of trades that I'm doing right now. One is a conservative midweek iron condor, and that's a credit spread. So I open that for a credit usually on Thursday for the following week's expiration, and then I try to get out Thursday or Friday for anywhere from a 2 to a 5% gain that week, because I don't particularly want to carry it over the weekend. I know years ago we used to carry them over the weekend, but I'd prefer not to. We can't get in those every week because I'm pretty strict about the separation of the short legs that I'm going to do, as well as the premium I get. And I talk about these on the webinar each Tuesday. In fact, it was last week. I really went through some detailed graphs as to why we need at least a certain amount of premium to open it, and if you don't get it, it's just not worth it. The other kind of trade I'm doing is a credit spread momentum trade, and originally that started as opening both the long and the short on a directional trade, so it's not an iron condor, it's just a credit spread. And then once the tick turned in the favorable direction, I would close the short leg. As it turns out, it was easier in the long run just to open the long leg when it turned and just be done with it there, instead of opening both and then closing the short. So the CSM trades they're a momentum trade, but trading the direction of the chart. And usually I'm trying to be in that ideally for a day to 3 days. The one I'm talking about now with the 16% gain is I opened late yesterday afternoon, and again, I could close it now for a very nice gain, and I still may do that as soon as we're done in the podcast here.
Okay, Keith gives a seminar, and it's you can see all this what he's doing, and what is that once a week on Tuesdays at 11 Central, 12 East Coast time. Depending on how many questions there are, we go hour and a half, and I go through all the charts on it. I look at typically I look at a straight line chart, but then it jump right into the CSE advanced charts, and also the CSM charts that we have, both the long-term CSM charts and the short-term CSM charts. And I go through that over, about 7-8 stocks and indexes that I track looking to do these trades on. So I do that each week and tell you what I'm seeing in the market. And if I'm in a trade, I'm telling you what I'm looking to close. If I'm not in a trade, I'm looking to tell you what I'm trying to find to enter the trade. And that's a monthly subscription. That's what that is.
Yes.
So, and people, can ask me anything. They see everything. So it's just great. All our people do those same kind of seminars online. Cezanne, Joni, and Randy, and whoever. But that's good. That's good. You can go to our website, compoundstockearnings.com, and you can check out Keith's seminars, and you can subscribe there. You can also subscribe to our free cow report, absolutely free. It's been published 15 years now, and it has every letter that comes to CSE, every email that comes to us is in there, along with the answers from people from Keith and Joni and Randy and myself and Cezanne. And it's just a great newsletter, because you can see what's going on, what people are making, what questions they have, what troubles they might have, what our responses are. And it's just really a neat thing. And we also announce new things in there, like we probably have we have some special coming up. We'll announce it in the cow report also. And you can sign up for Randy's Tuesday evening from 7 to 9 Central seminar for the people just wanting to learn and get involved and find out what we do. It's free, doesn't cost anything. Any of our seminars you can attend over and over and over. Once you pay for them, you can attend over as long as you live, as long as we're around. We have people that have been with us up to 15 years and still come back to seminars. It's really great because you'll be there with people that have this wealth of experience. You kind of really, through osmosis, learn so much, more so than probably what we're teaching at the seminar. It's just really, really good stuff. Even Joni shows up every now and then. You know, she's, you know, kind of, you know, she's our in-house pole dancer. But,
Still waiting on the invitation.
we also announced that we have a cruise coming up or special things that we have. We always announce that in the cow report also. So Randy, kind of give a description to the new folks what you do.
Well, first I'd like to say that you mentioned reattending the seminars. It doesn't cost anything to reattend them. So you pay one time and you can reattend as often as you like, and that's for free. Most other seminars will always charge you some kind of a reattendance fee, but Joe doesn't. Joe's such a nice guy. He lets you reattend. And every time you attend, no matter how long it's been, how many times you've been, you're going to pick something else up. You're going to learn something else. We have people that have been attending for 10, 12, 14, 15 years, and they still come back and get refreshed, learn something new. We're always adding new concepts and new techniques as we develop them. We add those into the seminar. So it's always fun to come back. But what I do is two things, as you mentioned, the momentum trading with the advanced charting. And advanced charting is a proprietary charting package that Joe developed with compound stock earnings. And it's just a fantastic chart. Keith mentioned one version of it that he uses. Joni and Cezanne use a really, really fast-paced one called the intraday streaming charts. That's a version of the advanced charts. But the advanced charts looks at a lot of technical indicators put into a really easy to use screen, easy to understand, and it helps you identify the beginning of momentum, the beginning of a change in the stock's direction, so that we can use that information to our advantage and get into a position and get out fairly quickly. Joni and Cezanne get in and out in a minute. I mean, they're just fast. That's because they're so young. But the momentum trade is more like a couple of days. Sometimes it gets closed out the same day for a 3 or 4% profit, and other times it's 3 or 4 days, and typically between 3 and 5% profit per trade. So that's one thing. We teach that every Monday in a live in the market webinar that's also then recorded that you can watch it later on and as many times as you like.
Yeah. And, you know, what's neat, you know, everybody doing real accounts here, using their real money. And so it's not just like paper trades. Now, you know, I'm a big advocate of paper trading with the virtual systems, but when you're getting started in virtual trade, it's the best way to go. But all our people here, you know, our seminars, they're using live real money. Except in one case of Joni and Cezanne's seminar where they trade all day during market hours, and you can any of these seminars online and in person. But they do use virtual trading when they want to demonstrate how to get into a position bad and how not to get out of it good, and just to show you how you can turn these things around. They really use virtuals on that.
Joe, one other thing about virtual trading, all of us here use virtual trading when we're trying new techniques and other things too. So even though we're experienced traders, we still take advantage of virtual trading in one form or another to try new things before we start releasing them.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. And you know, all this stuff has evolved over 15 years that CSE's been around. It used to be that, of course, we didn't even have Wi-Fi. We just had dial-up, and that was a nightmare. Every 2-day seminar that Aaron and I would do, half the seminar was fixing people's positions because when they had dial-up, they'd hit the key and wouldn't execute immediately. They'd hit it again and again and again. Well, of course, they'd buy something 3 or 4 times or sell something 3 or 4 times. And now, of course, that's all history. And the charting is just incredible. Man, it used to not be. The virtual trading, and Keith, we've talked about this before a long time ago, it wasn't very good. And, you know, it wasn't realistic enough, but now it's exactly realistic. And so even that's developed. and commissions still get cheaper. I noticed I said in the cow report last weekend, I just got a notice right before the cow report went to press that I got a notice from Options Express where they had a major reduction in their commissions. And I keep saying, and there are firms right now that they just hadn't opened up yet or started the process of activating their no commission trades, where they're not going to charge a commission at all. There's no tricks. All they're going to do is make the money off the interest on your account, your money in your account. So if they do that in a minute, but the commission percentage is a thing of the past.
Yeah, Joe, this week, I called Options Express this week to get a reduction in my commission prices. So I'd already negotiated down, but even this week, I was able to get even lower. So we encourage everybody to make that phone call because they are reducing those prices.
Well, maybe that's why they put out that notice. If you were so,
I was super nice about it. And what was interesting, just kind of a heads up, is they basically asked me what I wanted to pay. Like, well, I don't want to pay anything, but they didn't go for that.
Yeah, well, it won't be too long before they'll do it.
That's right.
There's already firms out there that are not brand new firms. They're existing online firms, but the interest rates have been so low they couldn't make anything on your deposits in your account. But that's beginning to change. So I'll see these things really becoming more active pretty soon, I would think. So Google's involved in one of them. I don't know to what extent, but they'll certainly have the technique of having to get online trading platform if they decide to do it. So anyhow, well, if nobody else has anything, well, since we're short a couple of people, not Randy, but Dirk usually gives us an update of what's going on with CSE. Anything special we have coming up, and he's not here. We'll do that next Thursday. So I appreciate you guys being here.
Joe, I know you talked about the cow report. Did you talk about the Tuesday night introductory webinar?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Why don't you mention it again?
Well, because I always like to put that in there.
Yeah.
But every Tuesday night, as Joe mentioned before, every Tuesday night, free introductory 2-hour webinar at 7 Central Time each Tuesday evening. And during that webinar, I actually show how we select, construct, and qualify a new covered call position and show exactly how we trade a covered call to generate monthly cash income. In addition, I demonstrate how to use one of our management techniques, which allows income generation even if the stock goes down. Instead of selling the stock, we keep generating cash income on a monthly basis against that stock. So that's free. You can go to our website at www.compoundstockearnings.com and register for that. It's free. It's every Tuesday night, 7 Central.
Let me say one more thing, Randy, in regards to that. What CSE is all about. We originally started off to use covered costs to produce monthly income, not to try to make money off stock speculation. Because that's why there's bulls and bears. They lose half the time, and we win all the time. That's why we're cows. And we buy good stock and we rent it. We have the covered call. And when you used to say that you could get 3.5% a month of traditional covered call, it's the most conservative thing we've got. Still the most conservative thing we have. Randy is the overseer of. But now the rates are getting closer to 5% per month. When you compound those kind of rates, you can turn 10,000 to 3.5 million in 10 years. And when you look at all these companies that say, look, you save all your money, and we're going to invest this money for you, and in 40 years you'll have $1.5 million, something like that. We'll start with 10,000. Well, that's not even going to buy a car in 40 years. You would have 400 million if you did that long, making 4 or 5% per month. That's what we're all about. We're not about speculation. We have to rules. Just follow the rules. Everybody here that you're seeing teaches these seminars based on rules. And they've developed over time. Randy's improved a lot of things over the 12 years he's been with us. And certainly too. So, I just want to throw that in for the sign off. I do appreciate y'all being here, and maybe we'll have a full house next week. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Marcus.
Bye,
Absolutely.
everybody.
See y'all later.
Have a good day, everybody.
See you.
Bye, buddy.
Bye.